place. Now, what we know by sources is that the group of soldiers who are here for the Hunt for Heroes were in town. They were on their way to the Horseshoe Complex, where tonight was to be the show of support dinner. They were on a flatbed trailer, and what we understand is they crossed the train tracks and were struck by a train. We are told there are multiple fatalities in this particular crash. There are law enforcement, there are sheriff's deputies, there are DPS here. TxDOT is on the scene, Midland City crews are here. This scene is blocked off. In fact, Industrial is blocked off from as far as I can see back toward downtown Midland, and also at Wall and Industrial. This is blocked off as well, and so they are keeping as many people out, but there are a lot of folks who are just walking around. Someone just walked up and said this to them felt like this was 9/11, because there are people obviously knowing what's happened here, that this train had struck this particular trailer. This is a tradition that they do here for the show of support and for the Hunt for Heroes, in that they always caravan these soldiers and Marines who are here to take part in this weekend hunt. They had a lunch earlier today. They were on their way to the Horseshoe Complex for the dinner tonight, and we are being told that this train came through. We don't know exactly whether they did not see it. We don't know the full details. There are police here. As we said, there are lots of law enforcement that are currently discussing what happened. We will be getting a release very shortly. We are located here at the Stripe store at 2106 West Front. We're at Front in Garfield, and we are told this is the command post here for the Midland Police Department. Of course, they will be releasing information as soon as possible. I can see that Chief Robinson is here. I know that Tina Joust is here with the city. They are currently meeting with officers right now at the intersection of Garfield and Front. I think you can see there are a lot of people who are mingling around here that have been standing here watching. I did visit with some folks with the Drillers football team. They were actually behind this particular trailer that was carrying the soldiers and the Marines, and they say they saw it all happen. Very tragic. They were quite shaken visibly, and as are a lot of people who are here, many who have been around here since this happened. There were a lot of folks who were gathered here cheering on these soldiers, these Marines who are out here to be honored this weekend, to take part in this Hunt for Heroes. Again, an annual tradition has been going on for 9 years. Terry Johnson I spoke with earlier, and he was obviously very, very upset about what was going on. He said that as far as he knew, he had 9 major injuries he was dealing with. We are told multiple fatalities. We know that Midland Memorial Hospital has been put on code 1. That means they want everybody there, all hands on deck, to be there to help out, because they know they're going to have a lot of injuries that were coming in and that type of situation, so they've asked for everyone to come in. But right now this is still a very active scene. As we said, there are a lot of people who are still around, a lot of people who saw what happened, unfortunately, in this tragic thing that was going on today, a chance to honor these soldiers and Marines who certainly served our country, many who were injured in battle who take part in this annual tradition. We have noticed a DPS helicopter has been flying around. There are sheriff's deputies, there are police, a couple of the JPs have been here, and they've been climbing all over these trains, looking around through much of the brush that is here. Most of the activity is on the other side of the train. We're being blocked by the train that's across. We don't know if folks ignored any signals. We don't know any details on this. We just know that this was a tragedy that happened this afternoon, and what you're seeing now is a very active scene still going on here in Midland at Garfield and Front. We urge you to stay out of this area. Police and law enforcement are trying to do the best work that they can. TxDOT officials are also here working, but we are told by sources multiple fatalities that are here on this particular scene. Of course, a lot of people milling around. We hope to get more information to you. We just know that this was the group of soldiers and Marines who are here for that Hunt for Heroes. And again, a tragedy today. We are told that there are multiple fatalities. We don't know an exact count. We don't know any of the details just yet. We hope to get those to you soon, but know that this is indeed a very active scene right now, and we'll of course be out here to continue to follow this. A lot of folks are on their phones. A lot of people are here just kind of watching and in disbelief, I'm sure, like many here, because they cannot believe that this happened right here for many of them right in front of their eyes. And so there are a lot of people that are on their cell phones trying to get to folks, talk about information, but as we can tell you, again, this is still very active. They are still out here trying to piece together exactly what's going on. We hope to have some further details for you. This was supposed to take place about 4:30 this afternoon. I was at the lunch today at noon at the CAF, and I know they were talking about picking them up at 4:30 right on that flatbed trailer that they always do. It's the Marines and the soldiers who were wounded, about 24 of them who are here, most from all over the country that come in to take part in this. The annual tradition tradition is that they go to the banquet tonight, they receive a gun, and they go out hunting this weekend. Obviously, a tragedy that has taken place. 9 years this has been going on, and a lot of support from folks in the city of Midland, and obviously now dealing with this particular tragedy. The train is still parked on the tracks. It is going to be there, I would assume, for some time, and I'm sure there will be a lot of discussion on recreating the scene and exactly what took place. We don't know exactly what caused this crash, or if maybe either side did not see anything. We just don't know those details. We hope to get those very shortly. But here on the scene, it's still very, very active. A lot of people who have come through just to see what's going on, to talk. I'm seeing people gesture to other people, explaining exactly what took place. A lot of people saw what happened when this was going through, because as a tradition, people get on the side of the roads here. They wave their flags. They support these military men and women who gave their lives in battle, and unfortunately tonight a tragedy that is going on here, and we of course will now have to piece together exactly what happened and see how many were killed. We are told multiple fatalities, and that's what we are learning at this time. Tatum, I'm going to throw it back to you now in the studio. We'll try to gather more information. I'll come back to you with more here in just a minute.
Right, Jay, thank you very much. We have just confirmed Jennifer Samp is at the DPS office, and she has told us that the DPS has received a request for their helicopter to fly overhead so that they could look for debris and possibly even human remains in the area. So this is a devastating story for everyone who is involved. There were 24 soldiers who were in town to be honored by West Texans, and have been for many years. Their families, in many cases, were here with them, and then this happens as part of the celebration. I want to show you a live picture right now of this is actually taped, videotape from the scene. This is what it looked like just moments after this crash happened, and as you just heard Jay tell us, this happened at I-20 and Garfield. These live pictures are of the Horseshoe. You can still see a lot of cars there. This is where this procession was headed. There was a large lunch. Jay Hendricks is live on the scene where people are stunned. They sat and watched this happen. Jay, tell us, you're with a witness. Tell us what she saw.
Tatum, we of course are here on the scene. A lot of people have been standing around, as we told you, and a lot of these folks were here watching what was going on. Lydia Rodriguez joins me now. She's with Stripes. She was one of the people here. Absolute tragedy. You were here, I'm sure, with a lot of people watching these soldiers and Marines who were riding here. Describe what you saw.
Okay, what I saw, there was those long truck with a bunch of citizens with couples on the chairs. What I saw, the first one went by. The second one, they were crossing by too. And then before they were crossing by, there was two other vehicles fixing to cross too. And the next thing we knew, we heard a boom sound. But the thing is, the thing from the crossing guard, it didn't even go ding, ding, ding when they let you know. And to me, I don't know, it's because the electricity around the neighborhood, it was off for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So for the people to notice the train to come by, they didn't know nothing because, you know, it was too late.
All right, Jay, thanks very much. We are receiving some video just into our newsroom. This is raw video, so we want to let you know this has not been edited. You can see this is from just minutes after that crash happened, when investigators and police officers, you see them on the scene there trying to figure out exactly what happened. It looks very much the same at this hour, and we are about an hour and a half after the crash, maybe even 2 hours after the crash. I'm told that Jay Hendricks, who is live at the scene, joins us now with new information. Jay has been out there talking to witnesses, hearing what they say had to happen. We have confirmed that there are at least 2 fatalities and upwards of 20 people who were injured in this accident. So Jay, what can you tell us?
Tatum, I'm back here on the scene. I'm joined now by Michael Briggs. Michael Briggs actually was leaving his work. He was here when this happened. You actually tried to help some of the people who were here.
Yeah, I ran up to the lady that was by the tracks, gave her a tourniquet on her leg, and then actually took her to the hospital.
What did you see?
Saw the truck crossing the tracks. About halfway across, the gates started coming down. The truck tried to blow his horn to get the other people in front of him out of the way. The gates actually hit the first people on the trailer. It started going back up, and it wasn't, I say 8 to 10 seconds later, the train blew through the end of the trailer.
You went immediately and started helping people. People just all over the place, I guess.
Yeah, bodies were everywhere. I saw the closest one to the train, figured that would be the worst. So
yeah, there was some talk that the electricity might have been out, in fact the gates didn't come down, but you say you saw them.
I saw them go down.
Okay.
I didn't hear the bells or the lights, but I did see the gates go down.
Okay. I appreciate you taking your time with us. Okay, thank you very much.
Jay, thank you very much. That interview is so hard to hear as you heard a first-hand account of what happened today. The DPS helicopter has been asked to come in and become part of the search, look around that area for debris and possibly any human remains that may be in the area. And it's so hard to say out loud, but I think paints the picture of how devastating this crash is and how tragic it is. And we have confirmed that 2 of the deaths, this is video that is just into our newsroom, 2 of the deaths were soldiers who were sitting on top of a flatbed trailer as part of that parade procession. I do not know who the people are who were in this video. We saw a woman just now run across and embrace someone. You know, we can tell you from past experiences that many family members often come into town with the wounded soldiers. They come in to be part of the celebration and the party. I'm told right now Jay is standing by live at the scene with the chief of police. Jay, I believe, tell me, I know they just have to be devastated right now.
Tatum, I'm joined now by Chief Bryce Robinson here with the City of Midland. And Chief, I know you all have been trying to piece together exactly what happened. What can you tell us at this hour?
Jay, at this time, we can say there was the parade float for the Hunt for Heroes event tonight. They were on a parade route going to the Horseshoe, and apparently the second float that crossed over was struck by an eastbound train.
Okay. Do we know if the train just did not know they were there? Did we know what may have led to this?
Well, at this time we don't know. We just know that.
Do we know injuries, deaths? Do we know anything?
Originally there were 2 fatalities and 18 people were transported to the hospital. As of now, 2 more that were transported have passed away, and there are 16 that are injured critically at the hospital.
Okay. Somebody had reported also about a power outage. We don't know if that was anything to do with this?
No, I don't know. At this point, we don't know if a power outage had anything to do with it or not.
Okay. What happens next? I mean, what will take place over the next few hours?
Well, this is a large event, a large incident. We have a lot of personnel here. We're just going to have to gather the information, try to put it together and see what happened. You know, and that'll come from measurements, you know, talking to numerous witnesses. This is just a large crime scene, if you will.
All right, very tragic. Chief, thank you for joining. I know you've got a job to do. Thank you so much for filling us in. Once again, as you just heard, City of Midland.
We're going to continue to cover this breaking news situation out of Midland, where, as we have been reporting to you for a couple of hours now, a tragic turn of events in Midland as the Show of Support Hunt for Heroes parade, one of the floats on that parade, which was carrying soldiers, was hit by a train. Here's the latest information and what we confirm for you. So my colleague Robert Guadarrama joins us right now from Midland Memorial Hospital, where that hospital has been put on a Code 1 alert. That means there is mass trauma in the area and all medical personnel have been called to the hospital. Robert, you've been there for a while now. Tell us what you see.
Tatum, that's right. We're here at Midland Memorial Hospital, where it is still a very chaotic, very emotional scene here. Now, there are still ambulances that are pulling up without their sirens on, but they are still pulling up. Now, like you mentioned a few seconds ago, the hospital did issue a Code 1, and we are seeing nurses and doctors pulling up and running into the ER. It looks like everyone here is all hands on deck, and we are seeing some of the family members. In fact, we're standing right in front of the parking lot where the family members have been told to park. They are pulling up, very emotional, walking up to the ER, running up really to the ER.
My colleague Jay Hendricks is live on the scene. He has been there for quite some time. Jay, I know people there are just heartbroken about what they witnessed.
Tatum, I'm coming to you from Garfield and Front here in downtown Midland. This is still a very active scene. In fact, as you can see, they've now brought lights out here to help in their continued investigation into exactly what happened.
All right, Jay, thanks very much. A lot of people are asking where exactly this happened. We have a graphic that shows you where the intersection was where this took place. It's at Garfield Street and Business 20. That is where this parade was to be sort of a public display or a public show of support for these men and women who have been injured in fighting in Afghanistan or in Iraq. So they often say it's a thanks West Texas style. So the hearts of the people who are involved in this organization must just be broken at this point, because for so many years this has been something that has honored these men and women and made their families feel so incredibly special because they were selected to be part of this event. And for this to take such a tragic turn is something that our community, I know, is reeling from. Jay, I believe you're ready there at the scene to provide us some more information about what you're learning from your vantage point.
Tatum, obviously this is going to be a very active scene for a number of hours, probably throughout much of the night and into tomorrow. Chief Bryce Robinson back with me. And Chief, I know folks have been trying to get as much much from you guys. What's the latest? Do we know any update on injuries, things of that nature?
Jay, the latest on the injured is there are 10 critical and 7 stable at the hospital, and there are no pediatric injuries.
Injuries at all. Okay, we still have the 4 though that have been. We had sent 2 to the hospital who died. We had 2 that died on the scene, correct?
Yes. Yeah, as far as we know, yes.
Robert Guadarrama joins us right now. He is live at Midland Memorial Hospital, where that whole crew has been put on a Code 1. That is a code for a mass trauma situation. All medical personnel have arrived. Robert, what can you tell us about what you are seeing there at Midland Memorial Hospital?
Tatum, the scene here is still chaotic. Now, we just spoke to an official with Midland Memorial Hospital who tells us that they will have a statement for us very soon, but they're still trying to get everything in order inside the ER. They say it's very hectic in there right now, and they're trying to bring order to it. Like we told you earlier, the hospital did issue a Code 1, which means all personnel here at Midland Memorial Hospital have to report to the hospital. I was here when this all happened, and I saw nurses and doctors running in to the ER to help in any way as they could. Now, if you look right over here, Meg will kind of pan over. This is the entrance to the ER here. This is on the near side of the hospital. This parking lot right in front of us is where the family and relatives of the victims were told to come and park. Now, the PIO for the hospital, Marcy Madrid, just came out, and we are about to get a statement from her. We're going to head down there right now and visit with her and see if we can get a feel for what exactly is happening and how they are handling this issue inside of the hospital. For now, reporting live at Midland Memorial Hospital, Robert Guadarrama, CBS 7 News.
All right, Robert, thanks very much. We do have team coverage of this situation. We're going to go now live to Jay Hendricks, who is still where the crash happened today. The investigation continues there, although it is getting dark. The city has made arrangements to bring lights in. Jay, what can you tell us?
Tatum, I'm coming to you from here at the scene. I want to update folks to know that Midland Police just tell me that they are about to open up Front Street now. They're going to keep it blocked off here at the train tracks at Garfield as they continue their investigation. But Front Street itself is about to be opened, as will Garfield, from Front back toward Andrews Highway. They're going to reopen this road. It has been blocked off for the past several hours, but they are going to open this up to through traffic. They will keep this railroad crossing blocked off here at Garfield.
All right, Jay, thanks very much. We want to tell you one more time, we are going to take a break and sort of reorganize and then get right back on this story, but a lot of people are asking what they can do to help in this situation, and what we can tell you right now is that one of the needs will be to donate blood. So I want to give you a look at the addresses right there for United Blood Services. There's the address in Midland where you can donate blood. So we are going to continue to follow this story. We hope you'll stay with us on CBS 7 and CBS7.com. Of course, tonight at 10 o'clock, we will recap the entire situation, bring you up to date, let you know ways you can help, and if there is any reason for us throughout the night to break into our coverage, we will, but we hope to keep you updated appropriately on our Facebook page and on our website as we continue to collect information. So we hope you'll stay with us and join us tonight at 10 o'clock as we continue to follow this tragedy that has become of the Hunt for Heroes. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to return to regular programming right now.
Spectators out standing with their kids waving at the parade going by. The truck tried to blow his horn to get the other people in front of him out of the way. I say 8 to 10 seconds later, the train blew through the end of the trailer. Bodies were everywhere.
A parade meant to honor some of our nation's heroes for their sacrifice turns tragic. Blindsided, a group of unsuspecting veterans and their wives riding on a flatbed trailer as part of a heroes parade were sent flying when a train smashes into their float.
Tonight, 4 veterans are confirmed dead. 17 other people were rushed to the hospital.
Dozens of spectators who showed up to watch a parade and honor those wounded veterans instead ended up being witnesses to the horror and finding themselves playing hero.
Tonight, many West Texans also played hero as they heard about the tragedy and helped how they could by donating blood.
We begin our team coverage tonight from the railroad crossing, where investigators are still trying to figure out exactly what led to this horrific crash.
CBS 7's Mike Barker joins us now from Garfield in front with Midland County Sheriff Gary Painter, who was one of the first people on the scene. Mike?
Jay Tatum, it's a very cool and calm place here tonight at the crash site. DPS and police officers continue to block off the crash area, and they continue to investigate what's caused this terrible tragedy this evening. Joining me live here at the crash scene is Sheriff Gary Painter, who was among those who arrived here first on the scene today. Sheriff, what did you find when you arrived?
Carnage. There were officers that were moving out to assist the people that were hurt. There were victims that were helping victims. We had servicemen and women that were participating in trying to save each other's lives. We had, it was a horrible day.
Have they determined yet what caused this, Sheriff? We heard something about the power going out, but I know that you're still looking into it, but do you know anything yet?
We don't know anything further. Just a train caught the back end of the trailer of the semi and whipped it around, and everybody that was on it was trying to make their way off.
I'd heard reports that bodies were under the trains, on top of cars, strewn everywhere about.
We had every imaginable way that you could think of. People were scattered.
Do we know if Union Pacific knew that there was going to be a parade, if there was any coordination of that?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about that. There was
you were a
lot of people were involved in trying to get this to come off in a good and decent way, and it's just like tonight talking to Governor Rick Perry, and he said sometimes there's some things just come out of left field. You don't know. Governor Perry and Senator Kel Seliger has offered everything that the state has to help. Congressman Mike Conaway has called and offered everything that he can do, and I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from those people.
What do you think that folks at home can do that would like to do something? Is there anything they can?
Well, right now, one thing, we still have one that is in need of blood. If you have the chance sometime tomorrow and can go out and donate blood, please do it. The other thing is prayer. And we do have families that are inbound that may need money, for food or a place to stay or something. And I know already the outpouring in this community, and I know this community. I love it. That's why I love living here. And we've already had a bunch of people that have offered.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, Sheriff, and it doesn't surprise me you were there and your men were there, and I know, being a veteran, how strongly you feel about this, and it's a tough situation.
I haven't seen that many brothers down since I left Vietnam 43 years ago, and I hated to see it tonight. We were wanting to do something good, wanting to do something nice, and recognize and honor those that placed their lives on the line for our safety and our freedom, and just come out of left field.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
We appreciate it very much. I spoke with Terry Johnson, who's the organizer for this procession, the parade that took place here today. He asked that everyone at home please pray for the families of the victims and for the victims, and that there's going to be a candlelight vigil later on, and they've asked all of you at home to petition your churches and your fellow members to pray for everyone. Live from Midland, Mike Barker, CBS 7 News.
Mike, thanks very much. As the tragedy unfolded, witnesses were already wondering if this could have been avoided. There was a debate among eyewitnesses we've talked to about the mechanical crossing arms if they acted as the train approached the parade. Much of that debate surrounds whether those on the trailer were given enough warning to escape danger.
Saw the truck crossing the tracks. About halfway across, the gate started coming down. The truck tried to blow his horn to get the other people in front of him out of the way. The gates actually hit the first people on the trailer. It started going back up, and it wasn't, I say 8 to 10 seconds later, the train blew through the end of the trailer.
Oh. But the thing is, the thing from the crossing guard, it didn't even go ding 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 when it let you know. And to me, I don't know, it's because the electricity around the neighborhood, it was off for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So for the people to notice the train to come by, they didn't know nothing because, you know, it was too late.
Now, there is no official word tonight on whether the crossing arms were working at the time of the crash, but the arms were down as the investigation got underway. Stay with CBS 7 and CBS7.com for any further developments.
Here's a live picture right now at the Horseshoe Complex where tonight's Show of Support dinner was supposed to be held. It is an annual event that is the centerpiece of the Hunt for Heroes weekend.
Tonight, the Horseshoe is lit up but empty as most of the people involved with the event are keeping watch on those who were injured in this tragedy.
CBS 7's Jennifer Samp spoke with volunteers who were awaiting the arrival of the heroes there at the Horseshoe. She joins us now with more on what happened when they first heard the news.
Many volunteers and family members were waiting at the Horseshoe Arena for their veterans. They were supposed to have a dinner and celebration, but when they heard of the news, they broke into small prayer groups and hoped for the best.
A bunch of us from there were volunteering to help do whatever we could to get everything set up and help people in any capacity that we could when they got there.
Rebecca Patterson is a volunteer who helped set up a dinner for the veterans. The celebration at the Horseshoe Arena was supposed to wrap up a day of honoring these wounded soldiers. Instead, they were left waiting. Then, the news.
We just heard that a truck had gotten hit by a train, and then a few minutes later, the chief deputy came in and told us that it was the trailer carrying the heroes and their families.
She says they felt helpless when they heard of the fatal train crash, which is why she is now at the scene of the wreck, waiting for information and praying for all who was involved.
Really sad for the families, and everybody at the Horseshoe got together in little groups and everybody had prayer.
Even Midlanders who were just passing by say they are now invested because someone close to them serves in the military, and their hearts go out to the families mourning a loss of a loved one.
It's very heartbreaking. So, you know, they didn't die out in the field, but they came out and, you know, something had to happen to them here.
My brother's in the Marines, so, you know, it's just really devastating what happened, and thoughts and prayers are with the families.
We'll, of course, keep you updated here on CBS 7 and CBS7.com. For now, in Midland County, Jennifer Samp, CBS 7 News.
Thank you, Jennifer. We now turn to Midland Memorial Hospital, where all of the injured were taken tonight.
CBS 7's Robert Guadarrama has been on the scene all evening. He joins us now live from the hospital. Robert, can you give us an update on the mood out there?
Jay Tatum, good evening. I just got off the phone with the public information officer here at Midland Memorial Hospital, and she tells me that as of now, 10 of the 17 injured that they were treating here at the hospital have been released from the hospital. 4 are in stable condition at the hospital, and 1 remains in critical condition, and 1 has been transferred to a hospital in Lubbock. Now, of course, we have reported 4 have been declared deceased. Now, it's much quieter, it's a much calmer situation out here today, but however, inside these hospital walls, medical staff are still scrambling to help those injured.
Sirens, panic, chaos was the scene at Midland Memorial as ambulance after ambulance pulls up to the emergency room, turning around just minutes later to pick up more people injured in this tragic wreck.
As long as I've been here, I haven't seen something to this magnitude.
Medical crews from all over the Permian Basin were called in, and at Midland Memorial, all hands are on deck.
We had an alert issued, like all of our staff showed up ready to work. We have ample staff able to take care of the patients that we have here.
Relatives and loved ones who are in town for the event quickly pulled up, running to the doors of the ER.
They're shaken. We have all the family and friends congregated into a separate area of the hospital away from the emergency department. We've got chaplains on site aiding them with any kind of support they need.
Hospital officials say they have the situation under control and are trained to provide care for a tragedy of this severity.
We do disaster drills often. Several times a year we do drills that mimic scenes like this so that we would be able to handle it when the actual thing happens.
Joining us now live is Dr. Sudeep Bose, who was the only physician on the scene today and was also a part of Hunt for Heroes, actually, where you're going to be going on the trip tomorrow with the war heroes. Now, tell me, when you pulled up to the scene today, what did you feel inside?
I mean, initially pulling up on the scene, it was a pretty chaotic scene. It was a pretty devastating injury, and I think we all worked very well together as a team to take care of the patients. It's been a long day, and it's just devastating. It's tragic. I mean, we bring these veterans here from around the country to honor them in Midland, and for it to end like this is horrible.
Absolutely, and I know you obviously did give some help and some medical aid to those injured today. Go ahead and tell me what that was like.
I mean, obviously some of these were very serious injuries, ranging from minor to serious. I think everyone worked very well together as a team. Even before anyone arrived at the scene, there were other veterans there, and they began tying tourniquets and stopping bleeding just from their prior training. And then after that, the paramedics arrived, so everyone worked very well together as a team.
Absolutely, and of course we'll keep our prayers with those injured, but also keeping our prayers out there for the families and relatives who are here supporting their loved one.
Right, our prayers need to be with Midland right now, and with all the families of the veterans and all the veterans out there who've served.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much for your help today.
Thank you.
All right. And of course, we'll continue covering this story, and we'll keep you updated on the conditions of all the patients here at the hospital. Reporting live in Midland, Robert Guadarrama, CBS 7 News.
Robert, thanks very much. Tonight, hundreds of West Texans came together to donate blood for the victims in this tragic parade crash.
They say by giving their blood, giving their gift of life to our veterans and their families is their way to help out. CBS 7's Felicia Bolton has the story. Felicia?
Jay Tatum, it was a packed house at the Midland United Blood Service office. An emotional crowd came out tonight to give their blood and help save victims' lives.
Witnesses, military supporters, and former veterans lined the block and filled the rooms of the United Blood Services Midland office.
Being a medic was, my job was taking care of soldiers, and I didn't get to do that today. So my break from military is going to be shorter than expected because I'll be at the recruiter's office tomorrow.
We were anticipating to show our vets to their table and show them a good night, and then just blocks away from where they were supposed to be, the incident occurred. Minutes could have changed the outcome of this. It's just hard to deal with.
Within hours, several hundred West Texans came out to donate blood for those in the fatal train wreck. It's a step these donors say comes with a powerful reward.
I want to help out in any way I can, and that's why I'm here. Because it's like, I guess also hopefully down the line, because I intend on joining the Marine Corps, and it's like how I just hope that, while I'm also doing this for them, that maybe in case of something happens, someone will be there for me.
The blood that they are giving today will help restock shelves and continue to aid in those in need over the weekend.
When people donate blood, it takes about 48 to 72 hours for it to become available for a hospital patient. So those people that donated here on Monday and Tuesday, they're the ones that are saving those lives today.
Tonight, these unsung heroes are giving back to those who fight for our freedom and their family members injured in the celebration gone wrong.
For ways you can donate, call the United Blood Services at 432-520-4592 or 432-561-5539. Reporting live in the newsroom, Felicia Bolton, CBS 7 News.
Felicia, thank you very much. One more time, if you would like information about donating blood, you can call United Blood Services. The location or the phone numbers are listed right there on your screen. We do want to let you know that they are asking that you call ahead and make an appointment and that you schedule to do your donation tomorrow. They are overwhelmed with support tonight and ask that you make that for tomorrow and call ahead with an appointment. Once again, here is the latest on today's tragedy. Authorities say 4 people are dead, 17 others are injured after a train slammed into a parade float headed to a West Texas event honoring wounded veterans. Union Pacific spokesperson Tom Lang says the eastbound train was sounding its horn before it hit the float as it approached a railroad crossing. He says the crossing gates and lights were working at the time.
Now, Lang didn't know if the train crew saw the float approaching. Midland City officials say 7 of the injured are listed in critical condition at Midland Memorial Hospital. We also know that 10 others who were unstable have since been released. The parade was set to end at the Hunt for Heroes banquet tonight at the Horseshoe Complex.
Coming up, we will continue our coverage on today's tragedy on the track. We're continuing to follow today's tragic developing story out of Midland.
Midland Mayor Wes Perry says this may be one of the most tragic events we've ever had in our town.
This may be one of the most tragic events we've had in our town.
Authorities say 4 people are dead, 17 others are injured after a train slammed into a parade float headed to a West Texas event honoring wounded veterans. Union Pacific spokesperson Tom Lang says the eastbound train was sounding its horn before it hit the float as it was approaching the railroad crossing. He says the crossing gate and the lights were working at the time.
Now, Lang didn't know if the train crew saw the float approaching. Midland City officials say 7 of the injured who were listed in critical condition. Now I believe there's just 1 in critical. We know that 10 were released, and there is 1 that was airlifted to Lubbock with some injuries from this particular tragic crash. The parade was set to end at the Hunt for Heroes banquet.
We will, of course, continue to follow this story overnight, so make sure you tune in tomorrow morning to CBS 7, our morning show and the early show for national coverage on today's tragedy.
We will also be posting updates on our website and Facebook. There's also information on how you can help.
David Letterman is coming up next.
You make it a great Friday.